Hey guys, so today I wanted to talk to you about mission and vision. We often think about mission and vision as it relates to a nonprofit. I do have a nonprofit and we're constantly talking about our mission. We're doing mission time on a monthly basis to really look at what is the mission of our organization and how it's serving the community. And then a long-term vision. What are we looking to gain from our program? But how often do we do this in our own lives? I had the most amazing coaching session with the coach just recently, and she asked me, "What is your mission?" And I didn't really have an answer. And then she asked, "What is your vision?" And I didn't have an answer. So afterwards, I just spent quite a bit of time journaling on this and thinking, okay, what is my mission? What am I looking to do with my business? I've had a couple of businesses. I'm starting a new one. And this is, for my healing and coaching business, what is my mission? I just kept asking myself that. And then it just hit me like a ton of bricks. And one of the things that she helped me to see is what my mission is for others is what I wish for myself. And that was enough for me to really rewind and say, wait, my mission for myself is to really just embrace the present moment because I feel it within my core that this is all we have. We can, think about things for the future. We can sit in the energy of the past and different situations that have come up. But ultimately, this is all we have. This moment while I'm on camera with you as I'm speaking is all we have. So that was enough. That was so profound for me to say, yeah, the mission of my business, and I have it here and I want to read it just as accurately and say it as accurately as I wrote it down. My mission is to guide my clients to discovering and cultivating present moment awareness. So, and I want that for my clients because I want this for myself. It is what I feel in my bones, it is what I feel in my core. Um, and then, as far as my vision, right? My vision is to create a world where people are empowered to live with calm, clarity, and a deep sense of inner peace, cultivating harmony within themselves and spreading it out to their communities. And once we spread it out to our communities, that just spreads beyond even our country, our continent, and eventually throughout humanity. And essentially, I want, what matters to me the most is this deep understanding that the present moment is all we have. If I knew, and I've just did a post on this recently, that this present moment is it, I just would want to feel a deep sense of inner peace, inner calm, and knowing that I'm living my life the way that I want to live it. Now, I want to also talk about my mission and around present moment awareness and where this even comes from. Um, I had an amazing friend, Najat, and I met Najat in New York. She's Najat Michelini, and she was introduced to me by a mutual friend. And the first time we met, I was probably late 20s, maybe, and just getting out of another bad relationship and a complete mess. And Najat was quite older than me. She was about 17 years older. And she was so wise to me. She would say the most incredible things to me that at that time were so foreign, even until recently were so foreign, but they always stuck with me. For example, as I was going out and meeting this person or that person, or I was having in these kind of dynamics at work, she would often say, "Priya, close off your holes." And I would ask her, "What do you mean, Najat? What does that even mean?" She goes, "It's like you have electrical outlets all over your body and people plug into you whenever they want. Close up your holes, put on those child protective covers." And that is one of my biggest teachings that I often share with others. And so Najat and I had this amazing friendship. We lived, once she moved back to New York City where I was. And the reason we met or why we connected. And yeah, so a friend introduced us and she was thinking of moving back to New York City. We explored my neighborhood, which was 126th 125th and Broadway. So just a really cool part of the city. And she ended up living there for a few years, and we were neighbors. We would get together for coffee. We would go for walks. I mean, New York, if you live in New York, you walk a lot. And we would just walk blocks upon blocks, 30 blocks just to get to a favorite store. And, you know, it was just a really amazing time, and she was she was just wise. She said I was not mature enough to even understand some of the things that she said, but I just always turned to her for advice across anything, whether it was health and nutrition, natural healing, um, anything. And then I moved out to New Mexico. This is years later. We stayed in touch. I moved out to New Mexico in about 2009. And then Najat also moved to New Mexico. And we were 2 hours away. And that was, I think she moved in about 2011. And we got together here just like we did in New York. I would go to Albuquerque, and we would go shopping, we would go have coffee, and it was just a really nice time. She was a belly dancer, so she really taught me about belly dancing because I didn't have the coordination at the time, and just have those deep conversations. At that time I just believed what people told me, so I was, just often when Najat would talk about things, I wouldn't really question it. I would just agree with her because she represented that wise person, that person that knew more, that had more life experience across all areas of life. Well, then I started going through my healing process. It was I don't know, many years. I talk about my awakening with my hitting my head in 2019, but I think this was starting way before that. And of course, as you're healing, you're thinking about generational familial stuff. I was, healing my relationship with my mother, and really trying to understand, who am I? Who am I with? Take out the culture, take out the family. Who am I? And just it was so noisy inside of my head. And Najat and I started to drift apart. She started to have I didn't want her advice for things, but she was getting upset about it. There was a push and pull, definite push and pull. And there I was trying to pull apart because I was just trying to become more independent. I had moved out to New Mexico to become independent, to live my life. I didn't know anybody here, and I wanted to just do that. And I found, I was finding that it was just very suffocating, and both of us didn't have the tools to communicate this. And unfortunately, I could go into all the specifics of what happened, but unfortunately, we had a falling out. It was through an email, and that was probably around 2015 or so. And that was the last time we spoke. There was never any communication after that. I did look her up on Facebook at times, and I saw that her husband had moved to Albuquerque, and I was happy for her. And then of course we're moving into 2017, 18, 19, and it's COVID, right? And this, that deep time after that deep transformational time, especially after my head injury. And I started to really think about myself in relationships and my energy. What was I putting out there to people? What was my responsibility? It's, sometimes when it's easier to play victim and say, this person did this to me and this person did that to me, but I had to start taking responsibility of myself in relationships, especially in relationships and in my life. So as I did that, and we are moving through towards the end of 2020, I had a dream about Najat. And I reached out to her and I said, I'm thinking of you. And that, I did get a response, but that was it. We never connected by phone. And you know, after COVID, and after seeing all the people that had died, and just all the loss, and as we were moving into um, going back to work, I just had this feeling like I need to get back in touch with her. This is ridiculous. I remember going to a store and seeing a business card of somebody that I knew, and I thought to myself, why am I holding a grudge against this person? This is stupid. And so that began my time of really reaching out to people to heal the relationships. What There was no need to hold on to the past. And the things that I was holding on to were just a bunch of bullshit. It was just like resentments and anger over real stupid shit. And so I was moving through that. I was healing relationships. And then I had a dream about Najat. I was really at the point, I was like, I'm going to call her. I'm going to call her. And then I had a dream about her. And in my dream, she had come to me to tell me she was dead. And the next day, I was at a restaurant and with a friend who was visiting me. And I got a text from her husband saying, "Hey, this is Brahim. Can you call me?" And I knew she had died. And that is when it hit me like cinder blocks falling on me, a ton of bricks. Oh my God, I wasted all this time. And why did I have all this resentment? You know, she was such a good friend to me. Yes, we were both going through stuff. And, now that I've done all of this work and spiritual work and connected to my, being a channel and mediumship, and also had some amazing um, psychic mediums that I've worked with who've helped me to connect with Najat on a deep level, even though she's passed. I'm able to understand, yeah, we were both going through something and we didn't have the right tools to be able to handle that with each other. But by the time I realized this, she had died. It is probably one of my biggest regrets that one of my closest friends and I didn't talk. And when I felt that I was ready to talk to her, she had died. Um, and so that is why my mission is all about present moment awareness, because this is all we have. I kept thinking, we have time, we have time. I'm going to reach out to her. I'm gonna. And meanwhile, I didn't have that chance. I felt so happy that I was now in touch with her husband. Her husband was in Albuquerque, 2 hours from me. And we got together for coffee. And I felt, I had a dream about her again. He had a similar dream. We were able to talk about it. I felt so happy that at least I was able to connect with Najat again through her husband. And a year later, unfortunately, on Facebook, I saw he had died. He had died in his house all alone. Nobody knows even to this day what happened. And so I lost Najat and Brahim. And it just is, I mean, I could just probably start crying right now thinking about that, um, because we don't have time to waste. If you're listening to this, if this is the part of the video that you're catching, we don't have time to waste on the petty shit. Yes, all of the stuff that happened to us in the past, there's traumas, there's stuff that happened as when we were children. I'm not discounting that. That stuff happened, but we don't have to stay there. We don't have to stay there. We don't have to suffer. You know, um, if there's people that you want to connect with again, this is the moment to do it. If, when you're talking about all those things that keep coming up as triggers for you, or these resentments or this anger, this energy that you feel within your body that you don't know how to let go of, this is where the healing starts. Once you start to remove that energy, remove the charge. I see it as if we have these little bombs in our body and they all have charge on them. And so you could be going along in life and coasting along and everything is great. All it takes is for something, someone, something that's said to trigger that charge, and boom, it's exploded within you. Who ends up suffering? We do. And we don't have to suffer. There's so many different ways to dissipate this, and I was able to do that within myself, just with my own practices. I didn't, I believe, and I talked about this on my podcast with Eric, Big E Astrology, that there is a place for talk therapy. I'm not discounting that, but there's also a way to remove that charge that keeps that energy in our body, that keeps us activated, so that we cannot be in the present moment because it keeps us in the past. It keeps us in that resentment. It keeps us in that anger, you know? So I just wanted to come on here and share my mission and vision with you so that you know the basis of my work and my business and what I'm here to do and how I'm here to serve. It's the present moment. And I would love to support. And I just want, anytime I'm talking to somebody, I just want to help everybody understand that's all we have. So let's live. Let's start living. Let's stop just being on a place of survival, and let's actually start thriving. And I'm proof that it's possible, because if you had seen me just a few years ago, I would not have been this person standing on screen talking about this. I would have been in victim mode. Everybody, the people who did things to me, I would have been angry about something that was said to me in the past, something that was done to me in the past. I would have been in resentment because I didn't get what I wanted, whether it was a physical thing, whether it was an emotional thing. So the time to heal is now, and I'm here to support you with that.